There is a reason some people walk into a room and instantly feel familiar, as if they have already lived 100 versions of this moment before. There is a reason one person is born brave, another guarded, another restless, another impossible to fool. Astrology has always whispered that your zodiac sign is not just about who you are now, it may also carry the echo of who you once were. Hidden inside your instincts, fears, cravings, talents, and strange emotional reflexes is the memory of a former life that never fully disappeared. You may not remember the face you had, the country you lived in, or the name people once called you, but your soul remembers the role you played. Maybe that is why some signs are naturally protective, as if they once had to save lives. Maybe some love beauty so much because they were once surrounded by luxury and learned that elegance can be power. Maybe some cannot trust easily because betrayal followed them from another century. And maybe some are still running toward greatness because in another life, they got so close to their destiny and lost it at the last moment. This is where the story gets irresistible. Your zodiac sign does not just describe your personality. It may reveal the secret identity your soul wore before this life began. Were you a warrior, a healer, a queen, a poet, a spy, a wanderer, a mystic, a rebel? And more importantly, what unfinished energy did you carry into this lifetime? The answer may explain why you love the way you do, why certain mistakes repeat, why certain people feel karmically magnetic, and why some dreams inside you are too ancient to be random. Read this slowly, because the deeper you go, the more it may feel like recognition instead of imagination. Some signs will find power in their past. Some will find pain. Some will uncover a mystery they have been living without even realizing it. And once you see who you were, you may finally understand who you are becoming now. Aries. In a past life, Aries was a battlefield commander, the kind of person others followed without asking questions twice. Not because they were gentle, but because they carried fire in their blood and certainty in their eyes. Aries once lived in a world where hesitation meant defeat, so they learned to move first, strike first, choose first. That is why in this lifetime, Aries often feels restless when life becomes too slow, too safe, too predictable. Deep down, their soul still remembers what it felt like to survive by courage alone. This past life made Aries fiercely independent, allergic to weakness, and unusually alive under pressure. Even now, Aries can become impatient with people who overthink everything, because their spirit was forged in action, not debate. But there is also a shadow from that former life: loneliness. Leaders in past lives often carried responsibility no one understood, and Aries still sometimes feels that nobody truly sees how much they fight inside. Their lesson in this life is not just to conquer. It is to learn that strength can also be soft, loving, and shared. Taurus. In a past life, Taurus was likely a wealthy landowner, master craftsperson, or keeper of beauty and abundance, someone who built a world with their own hands and protected it fiercely. Taurus did not survive through speed or aggression. They survived through patience, endurance, taste, and the ability to create something lasting. That is why, in this life, Taurus often see RAV stability like it is oxygen. Chaos exhausts them because their soul remembers a life where peace, comfort, and material security were sacred achievements. Taurus may also have been someone admired for their sensuality, elegance, or ability to turn ordinary things into luxury. This is why they have such a deep connection to touch, food, money, beauty, and physical comfort now. But their past life also left behind a wound, attachment. If Taurus once lost property, love, or status suddenly, that memory may still live in the body as fear of change. That is why they hold on so tightly to people, routines, and familiar places. Their karmic task now is to understand that real security is not only what they own, it is also what they become. Gemini. In a past life, Gemini was a messenger, storyteller, translator, merchant, or even a spy, someone whose greatest weapon was information. They moved between cities, courts, secrets, and conversations, always learning, always adapting, always knowing more than they revealed. That is why Gemini in this life has such a quick mind and such a hard time staying emotionally still. Their soul was trained to observe everything, connect everything, and never stop moving. Silence can feel unnatural to Gemini because in another lifetime, words were survival. They may have once talked their way out of danger, carried messages that changed destinies, or lived with two identities at once. This could explain why modern Gemini often feels split between versions of themselves: playful and serious, open and guarded, brilliant and elusive. Their past life gifted them wit, charm, mental agility, and magnetic curiosity. But it also left them with a fear of being trapped or fully known. Somewhere deep inside, Gemini still suspects that total honesty can be dangerous. Their lesson now is to stop using movement as a shield and realize that the right people will love not only their sparkle, but their truth. Cancer. In a past life, Cancer was a mother figure, healer, protector of a family line, or guardian of a sacred home. This was someone who held others together when the world outside turned cruel. Cancer's soul carries ancient emotional memory, which is why people born under this sign often feel everything more deeply than they can explain. They were likely the person others cried to, depended on, returned to. In that lifetime, love was not casual, it was duty, devotion, sacrifice, and shelter. That is why modern Cancer is so instinctively nurturing and so easily wounded when their care is not valued. Their soul remembers what it means to keep the fire burning for everyone else. But that past life may also have ended with grief, separation, or the loss of home, which is why Cancer can have such intense attachment patterns now. They do not just fear rejection, they fear emotional exile. Their great gift in this life is their ability to create intimacy, comfort, and true belonging. Their challenge is to stop carrying everyone's pain as if it is their personal fate. They were not reborn to only protect others. They were also reborn to finally feel safe themselves. Leo. In a past life, Leo was royalty, a celebrated artist, a noble leader, or someone whose presence changed the atmosphere the moment they appeared. Leo did not live in the shadows. Their former life was marked by visibility, influence, admiration, and perhaps a dramatic fall from power or love. That is why Leo in this life often feels both drawn to attention and strangely vulnerable under it. Their soul remembers being seen by many, judged by many, and expected to shine even in moments of pain. Leo's natural charisma is not random, it is ancient. They were born with a memory of the stage, the throne, the spotlight, or the center of a room where everyone waited for them to speak. This former life gave Leo generosity, magnetism, confidence, and a strong creative force. But it may have also left pride wounds behind. When Leo feels ignored, dismissed, or unappreciated, the reaction can be far stronger than the moment itself deserves, because it awakens an old karmic ache. In this life, Leo is learning that real power does not come only from applause. It comes from being radiant even when no one is watching. Virgo. In a past life, Virgo was a healer, herbalist, scholar, temple servant, or quiet advisor whose wisdom saved people in ways history never fully recorded. Virgo's soul was trained in discipline, observation, and sacred responsibility. They noticed what others missed. They studied patterns, protected rituals, treated wounds, and understood that details could mean the difference between life and death. This is why Virgo in the present life often seems born with an inner scanner that never shuts off. They notice flaws, risks, moods, inconsistencies, and hidden signals before everyone else. It is not paranoia, it is memory. Their former life made them precise, intelligent, useful, and deeply connected to service. But it also left them with a heavy burden, the belief that love must be earned through effort. Virgo may still feel, on a soul level, that if they do not fix, help, improve, or give enough, they will lose their place. That is why they can be so hard on themselves. Their karmic lesson now is profound. They are valuable even when they are resting, imperfect, uncertain, or emotionally messy. They were once the one who healed others. In this life, they must finally learn how to be gentle with themselves too. Libra. In a past life, Libra was a diplomat, artist, royal advisor, or a person whose presence could stop conflict before it turned into ruin. This was someone born into a world of tension, ambition, beauty, and dangerous alliances. Libra learned early that harmony was not something that simply happened, it had to be created, protected, negotiated, and sometimes performed. That is why in this life Libra often feels an almost painful sensitivity to conflict, ugliness, coldness, and emotional imbalance. Their soul remembers another lifetime in which one wrong word could destroy a relationship, a family, or even a kingdom. This former life gave Libra elegance, social intelligence, refined taste, charm, and the rare ability to see more than one side of a situation at once. They are often gifted in love, aesthetics, conversation, and making people feel chosen. But there is also a karmic scar here. If Libra once sacrificed too much of their true self to keep the peace, they may still struggle now with indecision, people-pleasing, and the fear of disappointing others. They can remain in the wrong relationships too long because some ancient part of them still believes their role is to fix the balance, no matter the personal cost. In this life, Libra is learning that peace without truth is not peace at all. Their soul was not reborn only to be pleasing. It was reborn to be real. Scorpio. In a past life, Scorpio was a sorcerer, spy, forbidden lover, secret keeper, or someone who walked close to death and power. This soul did not live a simple life. Scorpio's past was likely filled with intense emotion, danger, hidden knowledge, betrayal, and transformation. They may have survived a world where trust was rare and survival depended on reading what people did not say. That is why Scorpio in this life often senses more than others realize. They read energy, motives, lies, attraction, and fear almost instantly. Their soul remembers what it means to lose everything and still rise again. That is where Scorpio's frightening strength comes from. But this former life also left deep marks. If they were betrayed, punished for loving the wrong person, or forced to hide their true nature, modern Scorpio may still carry emotional armor so heavy that even love struggles to get through. They crave total closeness, but fear the vulnerability it demands. Their magnetism is ancient, and so is their caution. Scorpio was not born to stay shallow in any lifetime. They are here to descend, transform, expose, and rebuild. Their lesson now is not only to survive pain, but to stop expecting it from everyone. The moment Scorpio realizes that not all intimacy ends in destruction, their entire life begins to change. Sagittarius. In a past life, Sagittarius was an explorer, philosopher, traveler, teacher, horseman, or seeker of forbidden horizons. This was a soul that refused to stay in one place for too long because something inside always whispered that there was more to discover. Sagittarius may have crossed oceans, deserts, kingdoms, and ideas, following faith, instinct, or the hunger for truth. That is why in this life, they often feel trapped by routine and emotionally suffocated by people who want to control them. Their soul remembers freedom as something sacred. This former life gave Sagittarius optimism, boldness, humor, vision, and a strange ability to keep moving even after disappointment. They often carry an inner flame that says life must mean more than survival. But the shadow of that past life can show up too. If Sagittarius once left people behind, ran from responsibility, or lost love because they chose the road over intimacy, they may still struggle now with commitment, consistency, or staying emotionally present when things become heavy. They may romanticize what is far away while overlooking what is in front of them. In this life, Sagittarius is learning that freedom and devotion do not have to be enemies. Their soul was never meant to shrink, but it is also learning that some of the greatest adventures begin the moment they choose to stay. Capricorn. In a past life, Capricorn was a ruler, builder, judge, military strategist, or someone who carried enormous responsibility while hiding their feelings behind discipline. This was a person who understood hierarchy, consequences, time, and sacrifice. They may have built cities, led people through crisis, managed wealth, or upheld laws in an unforgiving world. That is why Capricorn in this life often seems older than their age, more controlled than others, and strangely uncomfortable with weakness, especially their own. Their soul remembers a life where failure had a price, and emotions had to wait until the work was done. This former life gave Capricorn endurance, ambition, maturity, wisdom, and the ability to achieve what others give up on halfway through. But it also left behind a wound of emotional deprivation. Capricorn may still believe that love must be earned through duty, performance, loyalty, and success. They may have difficulty relaxing because some ancient part of them still feels watched by destiny itself. The past made them strong, but sometimes too hard on themselves. In this life, Capricorn is learning that they do not have to carry the whole world to deserve tenderness. They were once the one people depended on. Now they must learn how to let someone love them without making them work for it. Aquarius. In a past life, Aquarius was an inventor, rebel, astronomer, visionary, exile, or radical thinker far ahead of their time. This was a soul that saw what others could not yet understand. Aquarius may have challenged tradition, broken rules, defended dangerous ideas, or lived as an outsider because their mind belonged to the future rather than the present. That is why in this life, Aquarius often feels different from childhood, even when surrounded by people who care for them. Their soul remembers what it means to think beyond the crowd and pay a price for it. This former life gave Aquarius intelligence, originality, independence, and a powerful connection to collective change. They often sense social patterns, human contradictions, and future trends long before others catch up. But the karmic shadow is emotional distance. If they were once mocked, rejected, isolated, or punished for being different, modern Aquarius may protect themselves by staying detached, ironic, or hard to reach. They want connection, but not at the cost of losing themselves. That is why they can appear cool even when they care deeply. In this life, Aquarius is learning that intimacy is not the enemy of freedom. Their uniqueness is real, but so is their need to be understood. The moment they stop treating vulnerability like a threat, their brilliance becomes even more powerful. Pisces. In a past life, Pisces was a mystic, poet, spiritual healer, musician, dream interpreter, or soul who lived between worlds. Pisces did not belong fully to ordinary reality even then. Their former life was likely marked by intuition, sacrifice, compassion, longing, and a strange closeness to the invisible. They may have served in temples, healed broken hearts, created beauty from sorrow, or loved people they could never fully keep. That is why in this life Pisces often feels more than they can explain and senses undercurrents other people ignore. Their soul remembers grief, devotion, transcendence, and the kind of love that leaves an imprint across lifetimes. This former life gifted Pisces imagination, empathy, psychic sensitivity, artistry, and enormous emotional depth. But it may have also left confusion, escapism, and porous boundaries. If Pisces once gave too much, suffered for love, or disappeared into fantasy to survive pain, they may still struggle now with grounding, clarity, and protecting their own energy. They are often drawn to broken people because their soul has been trying to save others for centuries. In this life, Pisces is learning that compassion does not require self-erasure. They were once a vessel for dreams, healing, and divine emotion. Now they must understand that their own heart deserves the same tenderness they give so freely to everyone else. This is why astrology feels so personal. It does not simply describe your habits. Sometimes it touches the part of you that feels ancient, the part that reacts before logic, the part that falls in love too fast, fears too deeply, protects too fiercely, or keeps chasing something it cannot name. Maybe that something is not from this life alone. Maybe it is the unfinished music of the soul you once were. And once you begin to see your sign this way, everything becomes more interesting. Your strengths stop looking accidental. Your wounds stop looking random. Your desires stop feeling shallow. They begin to look like clues, echoes, memories, wearing a new face.